and I was like, it was no brainer. Yes, I want a franchise. I did my first location. My second location was just seamless. It's the same. It looked the same. So it was in the back of my mind. And one of my clients, one of the things that she said was like, when I went to your salon and I went to the other one, the whole process, everything was the same. That's the key thing of having a franchise.
Welcome to the Let Bob podcast. It's your boy Ant, and we got an excited interview for you today. We got a salon owner in the building, and that's always exciting because you see a lot of Black-owned salons, but rarely do you get to hear the journey to how they got there. And she's a little bit special because apparently she's gotten to the point where she's franchised her salon. So we definitely want to hear about that. We have Miss J in the building. How you doing today?
I am doing pretty good. How about you?
I'm excellent. We're glad to have you on the show to talk about your business, your journey as an entrepreneur, and to hear your story. I think I was told that you came over to the U.S. when you were 16 years old.
Yes, sir. I came to the U.S. when I was 16 years old with my grand aunt and didn't know any English. And I had to learn English when I got here. I worked as a janitor. And then, here I am. I worked different jobs and here I am now.
So you didn't just get lucky, right? You had to work to get to where you are.
No, sir. All of this is well deserved, well earned.
Okay. And so you say you worked as a janitor when you first got here?
I did because I didn't know any English. I didn't have any other job when you come from another country. I think that's the first thing immigrants just go do. But I have bigger dreams than that, and I work towards that, and little by little, and now here I am. So came here, work as a janitor. About 6 months later into coming here, I had to move on my own. And I've been on my own close to since 17-year-old, and here I am.
So were you in school? Did you have to go to school or anything like that at 16?
Of course I did. So my aunt enrolled me in Bell Multicultural, which is for kids that don't know English, that their second language is English. And I learned some English there. And as I moved out of her house, I had to enroll myself in another school. So I moved out. I rented a little room. And I had some friends help me buy a bed. My friend's mom gave me some sheets. She gave me a little TV. We bought the bed from the thrift store. And I rented that room for $200. And then I went on 11th Street in Washington, D.C., and I went and enrolled myself in Cardozo High School, which was a whole ordeal because they won't enroll me because I didn't have an adult with me. And I went there quite a few times, and I went there crying, I need to go to school. And the principal felt sorry for me somehow. And somehow, I don't remember all the details, but somehow I got enrolled in school. And so I will take myself to school in the morning and catch the bus to my part-time cleaning offices in downtown DC, and we'll get home at 10 something at night. And that's how I started. Being who I am today. And even when I was living in that house, it was a little tiny room and the attic room was bigger. So when I was making a little bit of more money, I was like, okay, I'm going to that room. And I went from the little tiny room to the attic. From the attic, I moved to a basement. From a basement, I moved to an apartment, and then I bought my house. And that's how everything went, just step by step, little by little.
Just gradual growth, basically.
Yes, sir.
No, that's cool. That's cool business though. So, as far as ownership, then like, how did salons get in the picture? Like, what made you wanted to own a salon? How did that happen?
Long story short, when I first came to the U.S., I went to Puerto Rico. That's where my dad immigrated from Dominican Republic. He took a boat and risked his life and went to Puerto Rico. And then once he got his paperwork, we got petitioned to go to the U.S. I spent about a year there, and somehow he sent me back to the Dominican Republic to spend my teenagers years back at home. And there, I always wanted to work, always worked. And even in Puerto Rico, when I was 14, I was working at a liquor store at the lottery machine. Anyways, I know that was illegal, but Um, went back to Dominican Republic, and I found a job working at a hair salon, just helping assistant. And then that's how I ended up in Washington D.C. with my great aunt. So when I was able to do a business, I didn't know anything about business. I just knew that I wanted independence and I wanted freedom. And when I was able to do it years later, I just, to me, hair salon is what came to mind.
Okay. No, that's slick. And you said something that's important there, which is what comes along with ownership, was that independence and that freedom, right? I think we at Bob, we talk about ownership a lot, but I don't really mention often about the freedom that comes in ownership or the independence. It's still a lot of work, don't get me wrong, but you can kind of shape that work around your time and your calendar most times, right?
It's
Depending on the business.
I think it's freedom in the terms of you can choose what you want to do, because even if it's a business, it's part of the business. I don't like blow drying hair. You
Okay.
don't see me blow drying hair. I want a hair salon, right? I get somebody else that does it.
Yeah.
It's certain areas of the job that I don't really like to do, and then I just have somebody else do it. So to me, I was a self. It was the selfish part of me where I was thinking about me. I want freedom. I'm a complete free spirit in all terms of my life,
Okay.
and I just didn't want to be held by anything. I wanted to do what I want to do in my own terms.
So in that journey, what I'm sure there were times where it was really challenging. What were some of the challenges you faced? Being 16, you come over here, you don't know how to speak English, so basically you're having to learn English to be able to even operate in the States, right? So what were some of the challenges you faced in that journey?
Um, Everything was just a little more difficult, but I don't think I don't see it as I don't see like I don't think that I had a hard time, I see everything. I'm a resourceful person. I just find a way to get everything done, and I thrive with that. And just learning the language was a little difficult, and people doubting you because sometimes they hear you accent and I'll be like, oh, I have an accent, but I'm not dumb, you know. Um, but I think if you're resourceful and you positive, and you can make anything work. We all have hard times, so I don't think I have the hardest time. So
It's spoken like a true entrepreneur, right? It's just you've had challenges, but you look at those as opportunities. Sounds like you look at it in a way that, okay, here's opportunity for me to learn something else, or a need for me to go and learn something else so I can get to where I'm trying to go.
you
Yeah.
know my motto in life is you live and you learn. I don't get stuck with anything.
Yeah.
Something bad happened, bad, good, I learn from it. It's you live and you learn. That's life.
Yeah, no, I agree. As an entrepreneur myself, I often feel like it's the failures that I learn the most from, right? When you're succeeding and you're winning, it's just kind of hard to learn from that because you everything feels good. It feels all awesome, right? But when
Yeah.
you're failing, it kind of stall you out sometimes. It kind of presents obstacles that force you to your point to learn something new. So I think I'm the type of entrepreneur. I thrive more in the failure. Like I look for that opportunity so I can champion whatever it is I need to learn to, move to the next step. So I can relate to your mentality there is that you live to learn. We should always be learning, to your point. So, okay, so when did you start your salon? What year did you start your salon? Or how old were you, I should say?
I don't remember how old I was in 2015. I don't think we can call that.
Okay, okay. All right.
I
So
was
in 2015, that's when you started your salon, though.
I
We
was
won't we
30
won't disclose
something.
your age, but in 2015, that's when you started your salon.
Yes, 2015. And I made my business plan, which I'm a true believer of business plans. Okay. I started my business plan in 2008, 2009,
Okay.
and I opened my salon in 2015. But I believe that the business plan give you guidance. I always tell everybody that want to do a business and they don't know how to start, do your research. Start with a business plan, because that's going to give you guidance of everything that you need, and you're going to start working on those little things. You're going to work on this, you're going to work on that to get there, and by the time you know it, you're there.
Yeah.
So yeah, 2015, that's, and didn't know anything. I wasn't doing hair, and I was working full-time for the federal government.
Okay, that's interesting. You said something that I want to speak to. So you had a business plan, right?
Yes,
So
sir.
let's ask this question: how close is your business today? How you operate your business to the business plan you had?
Very close.
Oh, okay.
Close. I actually, I'm going to revisit that. That's on the plans right now, to revisit my business plan, just because we want to do bigger things. And I only revisit it for my franchisee, because we sold one franchise. But very, very minimum. But right now I have bigger plans. So I was talking to a coach, and she was like, how long ago did you touch your business plan? And I was like, long time ago. So we're going to work on that and revisit that, and all of that stuff that I have in my head, all of the big things, we're going to put it into paper.
That's why I asked, because a lot of times when people start, if they have a business plan, right, they never go back and look to see like how close what you executed, the actual business, how close is it to what you planned. Sometimes it's really close, but sometimes it's nowhere near what you started with. Like,
well, I would say if when you say close, I was thinking in my head, did you accomplish your goals? But I would say it's not that close, because it's way more.
okay, there you go.
Yeah,
That's usually how it happens, right? But to your
bigger
point,
now.
the business plan is a seed, right? If you don't have the plan, if you don't have, I'm a firm believer it's not real until it's written. So I like to have it written down too. But some people have their plan in their head. Either way, you need a plan, right?
Yes.
And that plan may or may not happen how you have it thought out, but you have to start with that plan, And so I like to hear other entrepreneurs talk about, the fact that they had a plan. And in your case, you're rare. You actually had one written. It's far few times that I hear of a black-owned business owner who has an actual written plan. And then you said you wrote your plan in 2008 and 9.
Yeah, and when I started working, because things take time, and I tell people, and sometimes you get the employees where they want everything this fast, everybody want everything that fast, and I work here for a year, and or I started this business a year ago. No, man, stuff take time. Like, take your time, relax, do it, it will happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm never in a rush.
Yeah, and you said something that I want to tap on it too is franchise. Like, how did you what made you do that, or how did you learn about franchising? Like, that's an elevated business mind for sure.
Well, that was from the beginning, and that's why my name is so simple. My name is Salon 809. The 809 is the area code for the Dominican Republic.
Okay.
I didn't want to have my name on it, because I always thought about exit strategy maybe later, and nobody will want to buy Jeimy's Hair Salon, right?
Yeah.
So from the beginning, I knew I wanted to expand. I knew I wanted to make it big. And 2 years ago, I ran into, no, my husband heard a podcast with this lady named Kika, and she's one of the franchisors too. It's not too many franchisors. It's franchisees, not too many Black-owned franchisors. And I had that in the back of my mind, and he heard that podcast and sent it to me. She has a Kika Stretch Studio. Really nice lady. Anyway, saw the podcast, and I contacted her, and she contacted me with the lawyers, and I was like, it's no brainer. Yes, I want a franchise. I did my first location. My second location was just seamless. It's the same. It looked the same. So it was in the back of my mind. And one of my clients, one of the things that she said was like, when I went to your salon and I went to the other one, the whole process, everything was the same. That's the key thing of having a franchise. And as soon as I finished my paperwork, that customer purchased.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's good. That's slick. I've looked into the franchising opportunities for myself to buy in some type of business, And it's an interesting space. And to your point, you don't see a lot of people who look like us in the space. And most times when that's the case, generally there's money to be made, right? So um, I commend you for stepping into a space where it's scarce. Did you face any type of challenges in starting your in setting up your business as a franchise opportunity?
Well, the only thing that I encountered was that I have so many processes in my head.
Okay.
Okay. So I had to write those processes down because, okay, I can operate this salon and I can operate the other one. I can tell my employees because I manage both how I want them. Right. And, but if I give it to you, because you don't have, for you to operate my salon, you don't have to have a license. You just have to be business mind savvy, great customer service, of course, is my key thing, and manage your financials well. If you do that, you can run my business. But if I just tell you from my head, it's going to be difficult, right? So I have to have a manual, and you have to write every process down. So I had to do a little bit of that. My books always have been, didn't have no problem with my books. My accounting books have always from the beginning been on point. But my processes were in my head, and I had to put those down into a manual.
No, that's good. That's good. That's good stuff. All right. So like what's the I know you said you have like you had this business plan, you had big ideas then, and your coach is telling you to go revisit because apparently you say you have some bigger plans. What are some things you're looking to do in the future?
Well, in the future, I want to continue to sell franchise. The reason why I haven't sold anymore is because I want to focus on this first one, because she's going to be my test person. She's going to be my testimonial. She's going to be, and that's my baby. She trusted me. I want to make sure that she is good. So I want to give her all of my attention. I'm going to run that thing for her, I think, the way that I feel about it. So, yeah.
So basically, would you like to see your brand nationally, right? So you like to see yourself across the US.
So I see myself. It's not that I would like to see myself. I see myself, and we are going to be all over the United States. Okay,
Okay.
so it's going to be. I just see. I see the logo. I see it everywhere in the United States. So if you think about Dry Bar, it's a big franchise, and she is basically sort of my competition. But she do blow dries for, not for us. Not, she does blow dry for um more natural hair. So I'm focused on natural hair. We do natural hair. We straighten natural hair without the use of chemical, and that's my niche. And we do it in a very specific way. So the goal is to have my own organic deconditioner brand, which we do in house right now. But we do it so fresh, you have to use it within 2 or 3 days. But it's to have that, and then have the tools, the blow dryer, the flat iron, all of the tools that we use in the salon name. Also have a grow the hair extension business part, the e-commerce. And another thing is to develop a training program where anybody can do the service that we do, not just the Dominicans,
Okay.
right? So train the youth and any person coming out of cosmetology school to be able to work at our salon.
Okay. And you said, I think I heard you correctly. You said as an owner, you don't have to hold a license. You
No,
don't
no, your technicians have to hold a license.
Hmm. Hmm.
The person actually touching the hair.
Interesting. Nice business model.
Yes, my franchisee is actually, she have the same situation that I had when I started. She works for the federal government. I quit my job like 2 years ago from the federal government, but she currently works for the federal government, and she does not do hair.
Wow.
So we're gonna prove that point.
That's good. That's good. So in this, because you're in the service industry, do you see the difference in like reliability with your workers, or like what is that like? How is that experience? I know that nationally we're dealing with labor issues, right? Are you feeling that as a salon owner?
Yes, especially me, and that's like like you say earlier, from the from the challenges you learn. So that's one of the things, the challenges that I'm having, because the Dominican community is very small.
Okay.
And for you to find stylists that are Dominican that know the niche, it's not because they're Dominican, it's because they know how to do um, the hair the way that, the way that we do it, the way that the salon does it. And so that's why I want to develop that training, because it's the same thinking as if you go to a French restaurant, you go to the Italian restaurant. Who are the chef cooking in the back? They're not all Italian, they're not all French,
Yeah.
right? As long as they go through a vigorous training and they are taught the right things, they can cook that meal. So the same thing, I want to develop a training in-house that whoever comes through that door goes through that training, and the customer is going to receive the same level of service.
No, that's smart. That's smart. That's very smart actually. And that's a niche, right? So you're looking at it from the aspect of you're solving a problem for your franchisees before they even face this problem, right? That's
Correct.
actually an opportunity for
And
your
that's
for your
that's
portion.
yes.
No, that's smart. That's smart stuff. And where are your salons located?
So one salon is located on Central Avenue, Hyattsville, Maryland, 7816 Central Avenue, Hyattsville, Maryland. I was getting ready to give you, I have a laundromat, so I was getting ready to give you the laundromat address.
Okay. Okay.
And then the other one is in Bowie on 301, 3536 Crane Highway, Bowie, Maryland.
Okay. And I'm not gonna let you slide by that so smooth. So you own a laundromat too?
Yes, we have a grand opening on August 6th for the laundromat that I built from scratch. I don't know nothing about laundromat, but that's going to be super successful.
Oh, that's cool stuff, man. See, I love to have these these discussions so the audience can hear and people can get inspired, right? Like you just said, you're doing a laundromat, you know nothing about the business, but hey, you finna hey, look, you're gonna either win or lose, but in the end, you're gonna know I tried it, I did it, I was successful or I wasn't. And sometimes, man, that's just an attitude you have to have. And I
It's,
think
I
a lot
think
of
it's
people,
attitude, and also if you find your recipe, go and do your research, and if you know what you got to do your due diligence. I knew the location was great, I knew I had to build it there, and I found out some things. And then along the way you find the people that can help you. The distributor for the laundromat provided a lot of help. They the one that's going to train. The people that provided the POS system is training me. If you know business, I think you can do any business.
yeah, I agree. I agree
Yeah.
100%. I think the core foundation of business is the same no matter what product you're selling, product or service you're selling. So I commend you for that. Well, we definitely appreciate you for stopping in and giving us some insight on what you're doing and how you came over here at 16. That's just impressive in itself. And now building your empire. And so we're excited to let our audience learn about you, and we hope you much more success. And if we can help in any way, we're all for it. We definitely want to let some young Dominican 16-year-old see you, and also just some young black girl who's trying to figure things out, see someone successful who had to get it in the grind.
For sure. Thank you. You're already helping by having me here and getting the word around. And one of the things that I wanted, the reasons why I do this is three things: is financial independence, freedom, and those things are going to give me the tools to help others, because I love helping my ladies. I love helping whoever is around me, whoever I can help. I thrive with that.
Oh, that's good stuff. Our pillars at Bob is finance, ownership, community, and education. So for us, ownership is the core, right? But we need to expose more people who look like us so that we can affect the community. Like we're really big on that. So to have you on and share your story, we feel like that's our mission, and to get more of us out. Like we need to see each other, right? We have so many channels for entertainers and athletes where they're getting highlight all the time. But the Jays in Maryland, if not this, then how do that young 16-year-old see you? and create inspiration to be you, right? So that's what our effort is about. Do you have any social media that our audience can find you on?
I do. Salon 809 across the board.
Okay,
And
cool.
809 Laundromat across the board.
Okay, all right, cool. Well, again, thank you so much for coming on. And if we can help in any way outside of just telling people about you, let us know, okay?
Same here. I appreciate you.
All right. So this has been another great episode of the Let Bob podcast. You can find us on all social media. Find the company at We Are Let Bob, and you can find me personally at I Am Let Bob. And we are out.
Hey, it's just something that I live that this world don't live. It's just something that I feel that this world don't feel.